I want to talk about the flow of love, the metaphor of love as river, love as water. Being able to see the flows of love between you and other people, between other people and themselves, between groups of people. Being able to see the flows of love is the first step to really being able to shift something in another person, in a group, in a community. Being able to understand how love is flowing or how love is not flowing allows us to shift things on the level of love which we cannot shift on any other level. So I want to talk today about what that means for love to flow, and how to notice and how to see those flows. The first and easiest place to start with this is just noticing what it feels like when we bring somebody to mind that we love. Someone that we love and who loves us. Maybe this is a grandmother or grandfather who showed you that unconditional love as a kid. Maybe it's a good friend or the person you're dating or you're married to. It could even be your pet. In fact, pets are great at this, especially dogs, because they it's quite obvious that their love is flowing. And so when we bring this individual to mind, just notice what it's like to have that kind of joyous feeling, that feeling of lightness, that feeling of warmth when we're in the presence of this person that we love. And see if you can close your eyes and really drop down from the head into the heart. And with this person in mind, see if you can open your heart space and let a kind of warm light flow from you to them. And let this flow not only come from the heart, but also from the gut. And also from your whole stomach area. And also your shoulders, and your arms, and your legs, and your head. Opening up your body, every limb, every part of it, so that love is flowing from you to them. Warmth, well-being, well-wishes. Just let this energy, let this warm compassion flow to them. And also notice, what is it like for them to return that love? What is it like to receive that love? To let that love into your cells, into your chest, into your forehead and face and stomach. Because the river of love that connects us to any other person, the rivers that connect us to everything around us, it's not just a one-way thing. We can allow our love to flow outward, but receiving of love is just as important. And John Wellwood, who writes about spirituality and love and relationships, he talks about how so often spiritual traditions tell us to love others. Love others. Love your neighbor. Be compassionate. But what they don't tell us, says John Wellwood, is that the first step in loving others is loving ourselves. in allowing that love to enter into us and accepting it. If we don't have love ourselves, we can't give it. If our cup isn't full and overflowing, then when we give love, it comes with a little bit of a string attached to it. To be able to let our love flow generously like a river, we have to be able to accept it. Sometimes we're lucky. Our lives are filled with people who give us their love, whether good and loving parents, good enough parents maybe, grandparents, friends. But sometimes we don't have that. And we need to give ourselves that love that maybe we did not receive or are not receiving from the world around us. And eventually, the place that the place from which we really want to live and act is from a place of total universal love. A love not just of an individual, not just of our beloved, which is a kind of relative love, but really a love of the whole, of the totality of our universe, of everything around us. And when we can tap into that love, and when that flows in like if we are a gate and the whole of the universe is behind us at our backs, flowing through us, through our bodies, and instead of trying to hold on to it and keep it for ourselves, if we let that love flow outward to the world, we have the whole of the universe flowing in through the back of us and coming out through the front. And it is an infinite stream of love. We become in that way a channel for love to flow through us and outward to others. And to be able to do this, the very first thing we need to know is and sense is, what is it like for love to be flowing at all? You know, to get to that place of being a channel for infinite love, we first have to understand what is it like to be a channel of just regular relative love between one human heart and another. And it doesn't even have to be between humans. It can be between pets. It can be to a place, a city, a country. It could be to your favorite dish, your favorite food. It doesn't matter. We can open our hearts to anything. So I said before that a good place to start with this is opening up to somebody that you already love or something that you already love. The next level of this is bringing somebody to mind. And usually it's easiest with a person, somebody that you know and who you have some hardness towards. Maybe there's unresolved aggression or resentment, pain that has not been fully healed or processed or admitted. It could be someone that has done wrong to you or someone that you have done wrong to. And there's a blockage of love, a stiffening of that channel towards this individual. The next step is noticing that stiffening, noticing that hardness of heart. And again, with that same openness and love that you exhibited towards the person that you love readily, that same golden, warm flow, direct it to the person with whom you have difficulties. Allow this love to flow towards them. Allow this love and this light to wash them, to bathe them, to soften them. Allow your flowing love from your limbs, your arms, your legs, your stomach, your heart, your head, your whole being to penetrate into them and right down to their heart center, past all of their defenses, which you saturate and you cut right through. And you open a channel of love between your heart and theirs. And as you do this, you may feel yourself dropping down into sadness. You may feel yourself dropping down into a melancholy, even a kind of pain. A pain and a sadness when you see this other person as another hurt, fearful human being who is blind in their own ways, who has been hurt in their own ways, who perpetuates around themselves and maybe has perpetuated in your life a kind of blindness. And in so doing, they also alienate and hurt themselves. And when we drop down into this sadness, our own hatred, our own anger and resentment, it dissipates and falls away. It dissolves. And maybe we are sad because we responded to their aggression, fear, hurt with aggression, fear, and hurt ourselves. Sad for the way in which we treated them or didn't treat them. James Baldwin has this phrase that he wrote that he says, "I imagine that one of the reasons people cling to their hate so stubbornly is because they sense that when hate is gone, they'll be forced to deal with pain." And I think that's so true. When our walls and our prickly exterior shells, when we give that up, what we're left with is a feeling of deep sadness, a broken heart. How could we have let this person hurt themselves so much? How could we have hurt them so much? How could we have been so blind to the lack of love? And when we allow our love to flow again to this person, it opens an avenue for healing, both for them and for ourselves. And this flow, this healing, has to go both ways. It's something called double forgiveness. At least that's what I call it. And what I mean here is not that the other person has to be there present and returning and reciprocating this to you. You may never get their reciprocation. You may never get their forgiveness, their love back. But what is important is as you love and forgive them in your heart, that you also love and forgive yourself. Because in any situation, no matter if you are the one at fault or they are the one at fault, no matter what the circumstances are, both people need forgiveness. And you yourself, we forget in our own, even when we were victimized, even when we were the ones that are blameless in a situation, we need to offer ourselves forgiveness for having not shown up in a different way, for having not said or done something differently. Maybe not holding our line and protecting our values or our own heart when we needed to. Maybe not seeing another person's pain and hurt and being unable to really speak to that. Whatever it might be, the forgiveness that we extend to the person that has hurt us and that we are angry towards, we also have to extend forgiveness to ourselves for everything that we did or did not do. So, hopefully at this point, you're getting a sense for this flow, these rivers of love. So, rivers flowing towards the things and the people that we love easily, rivers flowing towards those that we have hardness of heart towards, or rather, even noticing the places where those rivers, those channels are blocked. That's important too. Noticing when love is not flowing is maybe just as important, if not more important, than noticing when love is flowing. But also noticing, instead of just relation to others and flow towards others, but also flow towards ourselves. When love is not flowing inward, from our heart to our heart, from ourselves to ourselves, then we seek love from outside. We seek love from a partner, a romantic partner. We cling on to other people. We seek love and approval from our bosses, and our superiors, and people in authority, because maybe we're projecting our parents onto them. And we deep down still seek approval and love from parents that never fully gave it to us. We can seek love through fame, through success, through all these different forms. Even giving of charity, right? Being someone who is perceived as a loving person. Sometimes there is a yearning in doing good for others to be seen as someone good and have that love reciprocated. But ultimately, all of these forms of love that are seeking love from outside of us, they are not the places where we need to source our love, because those places they're always conditional, they're always relative, and in giving, doing good things for others or seeking approval from others, we're never going to get a steady, continuous, infinite flow of love. The only place where we can truly get that is from ourselves. When love is flowing from our heart into our heart. And then the more expanded version of that, when love is flowing from the universe through us out to the universe. That when we act as a channel, as a fully open gateway to the universe's love flowing through us and out. But the place to start with that is simply the loop between our heart and itself. And a lot of people have trouble with this. Self-love, so oftentimes is seen as is the selfish thing. is the selfish thing. It's associated with narcissism and arrogance and these things. But it couldn't be further from the truth. Narcissism and arrogance is in reality a lack of self-love. Narcissism and arrogance is exactly the pattern of seeking love from outside of us, from others. We seek others' love, others' attention. Self-love. We no longer need that external validation. We have everything we need. And quite simply, to work with this, to begin to work with this at least, we can bring ourselves to mind in front of us. Just like we had brought the person we love and the person we had hardness of heart towards, we bring ourselves to mind right in front of us, and we allow our love to flow in the same way, opening our heart center, allowing the light and the warmth to flow from our limbs, flow from our stomach, flow from our mind, our full center towards ourselves. And then we imagine ourselves on the receiving end of this love flowing into us, opening up our opening ourselves up, almost like flowers blooming all across our body. Flowers blooming, receiving this nectar, receiving this flowing love and light, catching it and letting that seep down, root down into the soil and earth of our bones, of our cells, and allowing this flow to continue outwards from you to yourself, receiving it with open flowers. Every part of your body, soaking it in. And it's a practice. And some people have a real hard time with it at first. I know I did. But noticing the ways in which love flows or does not flow between us and others, between us and ourselves, it gives us insight into where so much conflict comes from. If you start to watch and notice where there's emotional friction or tension in situations, where conflicts and arguments arise from, if you are watching what is happening deep down on this level of love's flow, which is this kind of subterranean flow. It's almost like, it's usually unspoken. We're usually not talking about, oh, you did not show me enough love when I was a kid, and that's why I'm angry at you, Mom, for not calling me or for whatever it might be. We usually aren't talking about the literal flows of love, but if we're paying attention, we can see the ways in which the flow is blocked or narrowed or stopped or even reversed. And we can see how this manifests and leads to so much conflict between people, between groups of people, and also between us and ourselves. The ways in which we have negative self-talk, thoughts and ideas that are harmful to ourselves. There's so many people that hate themselves, that don't love themselves, and don't even realize that that's what's going on. I remember when I first realized that I didn't truly love myself. It was kind of a shock. I was shocked because if you had asked me the day before, any time in the preceding months, how are you? Are you okay? Do you like yourself? Do you like yourself? And I would say, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm doing fine. And I didn't realize, I had no idea what it was like to actually open up my heart to me fully. And I saw this recently when I was talking to a friend of mine. We were having this conversation, and I asked him, do you love yourself? Because I had a suspicion that maybe he struggles with that. I said, do you love yourself? And he has this kind of humorous, easygoing way about him. And he says, I like myself plenty. I like myself quite a lot. And I looked at him and said, yeah, but do you love yourself? And he thought about it, and he dropped his gaze, and he couldn't bring himself to say it. And I said, liking ourselves and loving ourselves, they're not the same thing. A lot of the blocks I think that we have in our lives, we may externalize them and say that there are external reasons why we don't have what we want. We don't have the life that we want. There's so many places you can point your finger and point the blame. But a lot of the time, there is an invisible block that we have, that we put up in front of ourselves, that we don't feel like we deserve the things that we want. We self-sabotage. We prevent ourselves from, we don't give ourselves the permission to really go for the dream that we have in our hearts, to express and grant ourselves the joy that we truly want. Because deep down, we don't think that we deserve it. Because deep down, we don't fully love ourselves. And this is something that may have started a long time ago. Maybe in childhood. And this self-love, this flow of love from you to you, it opens up your life. It opens up avenues that you didn't even realize were closed. To joy, to possibility, to a future that you thought was impossible. You thought it was impossible because of external circumstances and blocks. But the real reason was because you did not allow yourself to live towards it. One of the greatest blockers of love's flow is fear. We're afraid of letting our love show for many reasons. But usually it has something to do with we're afraid of being hurt. We're afraid of the pain of opening our heart, because when we open that part of ourselves, we're opening our most vulnerable part. We're opening ourselves up to the most amount of pain. And we know what that feels like, because at some point in the past, either through heartbreak, through romantic heartbreak, or oftentimes much earlier when we were kids, we know what it's like to have a totally open heart, totally open eyes, and to have the harshness of the world pierce us, cut us, bruise us, bloody us. We've developed these shells, these defenses, this fear that is there to protect us, is there to protect our heart from that pain. That's what fear really is. Fear is, in all of its forms, is really a kind of protection. We jump back from the street when a car is rushing by because we're protecting our physical body from death. We pull back from relationships, and people that we love and who, or maybe that love us. We pull back because we don't want to fully open, to fully dive into and open up to love because we are afraid of being obliterated by it. We're afraid of the overwhelm, the overwhelming power that would destroy all of our shells, all of our carefully crafted personas and identities that we have developed to interact with the world around us, and so protect us from a raw and real experience of the world, of other hearts. That is what our identities, our personalities, are, everything that we've crafted since childhood. It's there to protect. And the reasons we hold on to these shells so stubbornly is that when we let them go, we sense that we must deal with pain. And so the path of becoming a peaceful warrior, the path of becoming a spiritual warrior, is confronting this fear. It's not the fear of going into battle and slaying another human being down. It is the fear of walking bravely, open-heartedly into love, without flinching, without turning away from the pain and shutting down and closing up again. Rather, it's walking into the thing that we are most afraid of, being honest and vulnerable, and allowing those rivers, allowing that love to flow out, to flow back in, allowing ourselves to be completely open to the universe's flow, a gateway, a channel for all the cosmos, every star, all of eternity and infinity to flow through us outward. And as soon as we try and hold on to even a shred of it, we become overwhelmed. It becomes too much. We have to let go of it all. Every bit of love that comes through us, we let go. Every bit of love that comes through, we let out. We don't get to keep any of it. But what we get in turn, instead of that, is an unending, infinite supply of love. We make room constantly for all the love that is to come by giving away all the love that we have. And in this way, we can heal and shift both ourselves and the people around us on a level deeper and more profound than anything else. And this is the way that you fight with love. This is the way you become a peaceful warrior.